Hello to everyone, and welcome back to Alex's Adventures in English. This is my 11th part. Yes, this is the 11th part of my first live stream of of my first playthrough of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PS1. Let me start again. Let's start again. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alex's Adventures in English. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 11 of my first playthrough of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PS1. While I teach you British English, okay, mainly pronunciation and vocabulary, although I do teach you a bit of grammar too. So, without further ado, let's crack on, shall we? Let's continue from where we left off. So if we go here, okay, there you go. There you go. So let's continue from this part.
I bet this is where my brothers have in the sloth brain that Snape's after. Let's split up and have a look about.
Okay, so what do we have to look for, Ron? That's a good question, isn't it? Yes, it is a good question.
I bet this is where my
Wow! I bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain that Snape's after. Oh, yeah, we need to go back a bit because we kind of missed what Ron said. We don't know where he's talking about or what place he's talking about. So let's go back a bit further back. Let's go a bit further back.
The map shows there is a forgotten area around.
Okay, the map shows there is a forgotten area around here.
Here? I wonder if it could be behind that old rusty door.
Okay, we need to find a rusty door, apparently. That's what Ron wonders. Just, okay, there you go. So, I wonder if it could be behind that old rusty door. So if something is rusty, it's... It's dictionary time. Yeah. So, rusty, because my memory is failing me. If metal is rusty, it's covered in rust. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's quite straightforward, right? And if you're rusty, if a person is rusty, that means that you're not as good at something as you used to be. So this is the metaphorical meaning of rusty. Being rusty, for example, you can be for example, my French is a bit rusty. Let me give you other examples too. And yes, you'd usually be rusty because you haven't practiced something, a sport, for example, for a very long time. So let me give you other everyday examples. Like, for example, I hadn't practiced for a long time, so I was really rusty. Another example, my Spanish is pretty rusty. So probably this person has been learning Spanish. Next example, we haven't played in a long time. We might be a little rusty. Again, we might be a little rusty. We haven't played in a long time. We might be a little rusty. Another example, an old rusty bicycle. So this is the concrete meaning, right? The literal meaning of being rusty, of something being rusty. being covered in rust. The bicycle looked a bit rusty, but it worked. Another example, it was attached to a rusty chain hidden in the bracken. So bracken was that? A plant that often grows in forests and becomes reddish brown in the autumn. That's bracken. It's a type of plant. What else? So there was an old rusty. Let me give you another example. I opened the rusty iron gate and walked up the path. And what about this one? You can go rusty. Something can go rusty. That's another example. That's another way of using rusty. Maybe they're still there. A great heap of them going rusty and covered in dust and cobwebs. Okay, so all the ball hitch mechanism seemed to have gone rusty and jammed up since it was last used. Anyway, that got a bit tricky. But anyway, to sum up this idea, rusty can mean, in a literal sense, covered in rust, like a rusty, I don't know, a new metal that will never go rusty, you can say. So you can say, go rusty, something can go rusty. And the figurative meaning of rusty is that you're not as good at something as you used to be because maybe you haven't practiced it for a very long time. So, for example, we might say, my French is a bit rusty. Okay? Now let's go back to the game, shall we? But let me have my... Let me drink up my... Well, not drink it up because that's a lot, but I'm gonna drink a bit of my cuppa. Yeah, today is a bit cold on my end. I'm not sure what's like on your end, guys. Anyway, let's continue. So we've got learning British English while playing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PS1. Okay, I wonder if it could be behind that old rusty door. The door is covered in rust. That's what we know so far. Oh, that's the rusty door.
The map says there is a magic word to open the door.
Oh, the map says there is a magic word to open the door. Okay, so the map says... Look at that. We can say that a map says something, like a person, right? Like, as if the map could speak. But actually, well, that's what you can read on the map. So, the map says... That's a good one for you guys. The map says there is a magic word to open the door. A magic word. There is a magic word. The map says there is a magic word to open the door. Usually, in this accent in modern RP or RP, in these two accents, RP stands for received pronunciation. You wouldn't pronounce a final letter R. If, for example, there, you wouldn't say there, right? But that's in American English and in other accents. But in these two accents, in received pronunciation or modern received pronunciation, you say there. But in this case, as there's a vowel right after it, a vowel sound right after it in the pronunciation. When Ron pronounces this, you do pronounce the R, and you say, for example, there is. The map says There is a magic. There is, and that's called linking R. The map says that there is a magic word to open the door. So let's give it a go. Let's try and open it.
Well, here goes. Alohomora.
Okay, here goes. Alohomora. Alohomora. With a long O sound at the end. Alohomora. Just let me double check something. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if that works,
Wow,
Ron.
look. I've opened that rusty door.
Whoa, look. I've opened that rusty door. I've opened that rusty door. Sorry, guys. It's, yeah, well, not breakfast time on my end, but nearly there. Okay, come on.
Come on, let's see where it leads.
Come on. Let's see where it leads. So let's see where it takes us. Okay, let's have another conversation with Ron. Let's continue chatting with him. Shall we? But before that, just in case, I'm going to save the game right now. Okay. Yes, now we can continue. Just give me 1 second. Okay.
Wow, I bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain that Snape's after.
Wow, I'll bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain that Snape's after. Oh, yeah, that's our new objective, right? To get the sloth brain that Snape's after, that Snape is looking for. Okay? Yeah, that's what we need to do. So let's see if we can actually do that. Shall we? All right, let's give it a go. But before that, just before that, let me take care of something. Just let me check something. Good, good, good. So, it's just double checking something. Anyway, got to continue. So, whoa! I'll bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain. Sloth brain, that's a compound noun. Sloth brain, two nouns together functioning as one unit. And the accent, the stress goes on the first element, on the first word in the compound noun. Sloth brain. That Snape's after. That Snape is after. That Snape is looking for.
Let's split up and have a look about.
Let's split up and have a look about. Can we see that again? See if we can have that conversation once again. Ron?
Wow, I bet this is where my brothers are in the sloth brain that Snape's after.
Wow, I'll bet this is. You've got a glottal stop there. I'll bet this is, rather than I'll bet this is where, I'll bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain that Snape's after. Sorry. And I bet, I'll bet this is where, and that will, the contraction, I'll in this case stands for I will, right? I'll bet this is where my brothers have hidden the sloth brain that Snape's after. So this is something like he's saying on the top, you know, on the top, on the top, off the top of his head, off the top of his head. There's an expression off the top of your head. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Off the top of your head. Just let me look it up to give you a good example, which means from the knowledge you have in memory. Okay, but I need to give you an everyday example. That'll be, what's the capital of, I don't know, someplace. I don't know off the top of my head, but I could go and look it up. And another great expression to refer to this moment is on the spur of the moment. What Ron is saying right now, or has just said, he said it on the spur of the moment. On the spur of the moment. On the spur of the moment. So used to say that a decision, action, etc. is sudden and done without any planning. Yeah, without any planning. So we hadn't planned to go away. It was one of those spur of the moment decisions. Or, to give you another example, we just jumped in a car on the spur of the moment and drove to the seaside. So you can do something on the spur of the moment. Meaning, without planning that. So what Ron has just said here was on the spur of the moment, without planning it.
Let's split up and have a look about.
And that one, I want to focus on this sentence. Let's split up and have a look about. First off, about, with the glottal stop at the end. About. Not about, but about. That's very common in spoken English, right? In this accent. Let's split up and have a look about. And what else? About here in the US will be replaced by around. Let's look around. Right? But this is look about. In the UK, you'd usually go for look about. Okay? So we need to find the sloth brain. Let's see if we can find it. Was that drink potion? Yeah, of course. What about in here? That's good. That's an blue every flavor bean, I think.
Venomous tentacular, beware, Hagrid.
Venomous tentacular, beware, Hagrid. Venomous tentacular, that's spiders, right? That refers to spiders. Beware. We've got to be careful. So beware, be careful. And beware. Hagrid says, beware. He does pronounce the R at the end, right? Because he doesn't speak with a modern received pronunciation. Oh, he doesn't speak with a received pronunciation, not a modern received pronunciation. It's got a different accent. A rhotic accent, an accent in which the letter R, the R is pronounced. There you go. So an accent in which the R is pronounced everywhere. At the beginning of a word, like road, in the middle, like bird, and at the end, like for example, car. Use lever in the UK, lever, lever in the US. Okay. We've done something, we've opened a door. But I'm not sure where that door is. At this point in the game, I feel a bit like at a loss. You know, being at a loss means that you don't know where you are or you don't know where you have to go to. So that is to be a bit at a loss. At a loss, that's an. You will use it in that way. At a loss. It's an idiom, actually. It means not knowing what to do. It's the perfect phrase for this moment. And to give you two everyday examples, I could mention I'm at a loss to explain what happened. I mean, I don't know how to explain what happened. And another example, I was so embarrassed that I was at a loss for words, which means I didn't know what to say. That's another great expression I can teach you. Another way of using at a loss. At a loss for words. So at the moment, I'm not at a loss for words, not knowing what to say, but sometimes I feel a bit like it playing this game. But not right now. Oh, that's Ron. There's Ron. We've got to go and talk to him, I guess. But before that, just let me do the following. Let me save the game. Or save a state, actually. Because I really want to pause that conversation.
Hey, here's some puffer pods. They're great fun to throw about. I hear they make trolls sneeze too.
Hey, here's some puffer pods. They're great fun to throw about. Again, throw about. Glottal stop at the end. Throw about. And about in the UK, in the US, around. Here and there, right? Dun, 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 dun. There you go. Hello, mate. How are you today? Whoops. I send that message to all the chats, to all, yeah, to every chat. Hello, Jack. How are you today? I was having some fun with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PS1. while teaching British English, vocabulary and pronunciation, and a bit of grammar. Too, of course, because it can't hurt, to learn a bit of grammar. Okay. Yes, so yeah, because it doesn't hurt to learn a bit of grammar, or it never hurts to learn a bit of grammar. That's an idiom, right? So you can say it doesn't hurt to do something, or it never hurts to do something, which means it is useful or helpful to do or have something. That's it doesn't hurt, or it never hurts. And the word I'm looking for is let me okay. Oh, no, 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 no. Let me just fix this. Yes. So it. Oh, bloody hell. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt, or it never hurts. Never hurts. This plus the S. To do something. To do something. So when you say that, that means it is useful or helpful to do or have something. Let me give you two everyday examples. And if you want to, guys, to improve your English, you can make a sentence and write it down in the chat. Okay? I'll correct you. So, it never hurts to check the flight departure time before. Again, it never hurts to check the flight departure time before you leave for the airport, which means it is useful to check the flight departure time before you leave for the airport. And another example, it doesn't hurt to have money when you want to run for office. So it doesn't hurt to have money when you want to run for office. Yeah, it's useful. It's useful to do something. Useful or helpful. Great to hear that you're having a good day. And yeah, that's good. So let's keep talking to this guy, to Ron, actually. That's Ron. Ron Weasley. So what do we need to do? What about this? We need to throw this.
Off a pod patch. Good fun to throw around. Hagrid.
Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff? Was it? No, Pufflepod. Pufflepod. What is he doing? So, but what do we need to do this? Just throw them around. That's it. Oh, they come back? Really? What are you doing? Has he gone mad? Oh, he's What is he doing? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's leave him alone. He's busy. Maybe he's doing exercise. Well, yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? I mean, maybe Ron is doing some exercise. Maybe he's jogging. Right? Sorry, mate, to interrupt you. That's good, that's good. Holland Patch? What on earth? You need to press the square button to open the door. Yeah, I need to do a bit of exercise myself, to be fair. But anyway, let's see if we can try and do something here.
Or clumps. Only approach with a Wingardium Leviosa spell. Agreed.
Okay, only approach with a only approach with a Wingardium Leviosa spell. With a Wingardium Leviosa spell. It was a bit of a mouthful to pronounce that, but with a only approach with a Wingardium with a Wingardium Leviosa spell. Wingardium, that's an interesting word belonging to this world, the world of Harry Potter, the wizarding world of Harry Potter. That's Wingardium. Wingardium with a long R sound, like for example, car in this accent, right? So cast, Wingardium Leviosa. It's Leviosa, right? It's not Leviosa, like Ron says in, I think in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, in that film, Ron says Leviosa, and Hermione corrects him, and she says it's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa. So that's good to know. Okay, let's cast the spell.
Wingardium Leviosa.
So where are we supposed to? Uh-oh. No.
Wingardium Leviosa.
No, no, no. He eats the beans, the every flavor blue beans. Apparently.
Wingardium Leviosa.
So we need to do this, I guess. Go away. Bloody bastard.
Wingardium Leviosa.
We need to be extra careful with these guys. Bloody bastard. Not again, you.
Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa.
Let's see if it works once again. Okay, yes, he's got something. Not again, come on.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa. Thank you. What about
Wingardium
you?
Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa. No, you've got nothing. We don't need you.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Okay. Good. And I think that this is the
Wingardium
one.
Leviosa.
This may have something. No, he doesn't. We need to get those blue every flavor beans because Fred and George need them. But I'm not sure how many every flavor beans they need. What's this place? Oh, that's the sloth brain. That's disgusting. But we need that one because you found the sloth brain. Yes, because we need it because we need to take it to Snape. Yeah, we need to take it to Snape. If we want to take, I think he's going to teach us a potions lesson or something. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Look at that. I didn't think that was possible. I thought actually it was impossible, to be honest with you. Let me do something. Uh-oh. No. Don't tell me I need to teach a lesson. Come on. Yes, apparently I will have to teach a lesson now. Yes, in case you didn't know this, I'm an online English teacher too, apart from being a content creator here on, well, all these platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. Apart from being on these socials, on and being the host of Alex's Adventures in English, my channel, I'm an online English teacher, and I'm on duty at the moment. I'm teaching, available to teach these online lessons. I teach for this online company. So probably in about 5 minutes, I will have to teach a lesson. So, guys, in case I do have to do that, I will have to leave you to it, do that, and see you later on, right? If I can't continue now. Just let me double check if that is the case. Yep, apparently that is the case. So guys, thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for being there. And maybe what we could try and do is to pause the game. Okay, let's try and do that. I'm going to pause the game. And maybe in 25 minutes, I can continue playing a bit longer. What do you say? Maybe that's a possibility. Okay? If you don't mind it, let's take a break. A 25-minute break. Okay. Yes, so let's take a 25-minute break. If you don't mind, of course. So, be back in 25 minutes. Actually, a bit longer. At 27 minutes. All right, I'm gonna do that. That's for all of you guys. So, see you later on, okay? I'm gonna get ready for the lesson now.